This is the Know Nothings podcast. I'm Mike.
I'm Ray.
What's going on, man?
Man, another day in paradise. I know we don't do it because we
just jumping right into it, huh?
Man,
we're not going to talk about like anything.
You don't know
else?
what I was going to jump into. I might have been.
I don't. We do this off the cuff. Maybe we have like a 2-second meeting. We're like, hey, did you hear about this? Yeah, start talking about it.
Yeah, that's kind of how it goes. But so we're not a political show.
No,
we're
not at all.
We're not a political show. We're really more into like weird things and cool things and music and moon landings and
which is not politics
and some conspiracies and some that. And we also like to try to figure out what's not a conspiracy because everything's not a conspiracy. The whole world's not out to get us. Some things are a conspiracy. There's legitimacy in there somewhere. And for us, I think the answers, I can't speak for Mike. The answer for me is what is real. Like I'm trying to just navigate Earth and figure out like which parts of this are legitimate. Like
I think the things that like touch your doorstep are real. It's like like they want to believe that we're all divided and that we all hate each other, but then you go out in town and you walk around and people are genuinely nice. Yeah. Generally nice and genuinely nice.
Generally, most people are genuinely nice. Yeah,
right. That's a tongue twister. But like so like what I always said was like I'm not going to worry about that until it hits my front door and I have to deal with it. That may be like kind of a cop out for some people, but I mean maybe it's a cop out. Does it sound like a cop out?
A little bit.
Should I go out in the streets say,
look,
hey, I think this?
I don't believe there's any future in calls. I've said that before, and what I mean by that is like I'm just not big into like boycotts and protesting everything and being against everything and not listening to the other side and everything and everybody's stupid over there, and I'm just not into that bullshit at all. That's really why it's why I don't tread too much into the political arena, but we're gonna have to talk about this Trump deal. It's just it's just too big a story.
All right.
Like
okay. I don't know anything about it, so I will turn the microphone over to you.
Would you say you don't know anything about it? Like elaborate. You don't know anything about it?
I know that in Mar-a-Lago there was a search warrant.
Search warrant issue.
I got to make sure I don't use all the rhetoric of things that I've read because they're always using like all these different words to make you think a certain way. A raid, or like they stole my passports. When it's like, no, they seized your passport. You said that. I was like, oh God, I feel so stupid because I'm like, oh man, did you see that? They stole his passports, and you were like, they seized his passports in like
with
with a warrant.
Look, here's the thing. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna say to the Trumplicans, and I don't give a shit one way or the other. But I'm just gonna say, if the Republicans want to save the Republican Party, it's time to jump ship. You're gonna have to distance yourself from this guy.
Really?
Yep, 100%. There is no way this is not a winning formula. This is as bad as things can get. He is a train wreck, guys. Like here's why I think it's so hard. I think it's hard for people to say I've been bamboozled.
Yeah.
It's hard for someone to say, shit, I've been bamboozled. This guy had classified documents, and we want to say, oh, he declassified them all. He said, did you hear that part, Mike?
I did not.
Okay, so Trump says, oh, they're not classified documents. I declassified them all. He said, yep, I have a standing order. Whenever I take documents out of the White House, they're immediately to be declassified. That's his story. Well, that's not how it works. There's a protocol. You wouldn't just get to say, even as the president, I'm taking these nuclear codes home, so you guys know what to do.
I'm going to take the nuclear football home just to prop my feet up on it. And it's cool.
It's declassified now. That does. So then the other thing that they tried to say was, well, it's a plant. Okay, they're like, the FBI planted the documents there. Oh, okay. The documents that he declassified? He went on record to say that he declassified every document that leaves with him. There's 15 boxes of them. They're not all classified. Some of them are clearly classified. Now, which is it? Did the FBI get together and plant all these documents in Mar-a-Lago? How did they get in Mar-a-Lago unseen? How did that happen?
Really good-looking golf clothes.
Yeah, because it didn't happen, because it's crazy. This is one of the conspiracy theories you have to say, wait a minute, am I saying this out loud? When they're saying, well, the FBI must have planted this. So that one's out. And then I declassified everything because it's a standing order. If I took anything out of the White House, it was immediately to be declassified. No, sir.
That sounds kind of crazy. Like whatever I take out, it's cool.
Here's what's gonna look. This is not. It is political because there's an ex-president involved. But the guy just says, guys, wake up. I know all politicians do this. This dude literally just says anything he wants about anything. He just says whatever he wants. It's like, they're like, hey, the FBI's got a warrant. They had a warrant. They said they were looking for classified documents on the warrant. Turns out they found classified documents, which tells you what? That the intelligence was exactly right. The intelligence they had, hey, we go to the judge. We're like, hey, what are you looking for? We're looking for classified documents. Where do you think they are? We think they're at Mar-a-Lago, and the ex-president Trump has them. Oh, gosh, you're going to have some evidence because I can't just say I'm not going to issue a warrant for president. Here's all our evidence. Okay, that evidence looks good to me. I'll sign this warrant. If they show up and find exactly what the warrant said they would find. It's like if you say, hey.
But that's when my brain goes, they put them there.
How?
They put those documents there because they knew what was there because they did it.
They knew what was there because they put. So then why would Trump then come out and say, I declassified everything? Because he knew he had classified documents. He had to come up with some bullshit. But guys, if you can't see at this point that this dude literally will say, he'll say anything. He will say anything. He'll say nobody knows about declassifying documents than me. That's going to be the next thing he says, is that no judge, I know more about war than the generals, believe me. Nobody knows football like I know football. I know more about football than Sean Payton, believe me. Just because
he's a character.
Just because he's a character. And just because someone says, believe me, at the end of every sentence doesn't mean you should. That's right. Number one. But the deal is this. You're going to have to distance yourself from Trump or you're not winning an election for the next 12 years.
You don't think if he ran, he wouldn't win? You don't think he would win this next election?
There's no chance. There's
really?
less than he lost by 8 million votes this last 9 million votes
that's when everybody else will say that
that's before he got caught with classified documents, is about to get arrested, incited an insurrection on January 6th, then got classified documents and and grifted all of his people. He said,
did he incite on January 6th?
Yeah.
Okay.
The mountain of evidence is too much. It's so much at this point. If you're denying, you're just denying for the sake of denying anything. You can't.
I feel like some people are so in his back. Like I feel like so many people got his back so hard. Like I see people that just whatever he says is like gospel.
That's what I'm saying. You have to at this point. You have to go. You just kind of have to just take a step back. Look who's left supporting him. I mean, it's not looking good. What in the world would make you think he could even come? And I'm definitely not. And I don't think anyone's a Biden guy. I don't think we're seeing Biden or Trump in the next election.
God, I hope not.
Oh, it's been terrible, right? It's been terrible.
God, it's a dumb thing that anybody would want to be anyway. I feel like being the president is a stupid job.
It's not for me, but it's for
I don't know. Do you think that we should have like a board that runs the country? I mean, no, I know we have checks and balances, and it's kind of like a board.
I think our system's great. We just got here's how you know he wouldn't win, Mike.
I think everybody's controlled. It doesn't matter if it's Trump or Biden. I think they all have systems of control in place. But you can't become the president without a nod from everyone, from all the people that run the world.
All this stuff stacking up against Trump, though, might be looking like he might be controlled by foreign countries. That's another big problem.
But the foreign countries don't even matter when you're talking about globalist or globalization stuff.
Foreign countries matter when you're talking about nuclear codes.
There are no countries when it comes to the people that run the world. There's the overlords. There's no countries. There's no countries.
But what I'm talking about is our country.
It's like Ford setting up things to build tanks for the Nazis, or the Rockefellers doing whatever. It's like whoever. But just make money off of whatever. So there's no borders.
Yeah, I'm in the same.
They sell all that shit to us. They sell that God flag and country to everybody. So we all are blind. So we can't. So we all think like, oh shit, the Frenchies. Yeah, they're a bunch of pussies. You know.
Blind nationalism. But as an American, you do understand that the president should not be sharing classified documents with communist countries.
No, I get that.
Right, like that.
I'm with you on that.
And that could. And that
but what I'm saying is, those people that are in power that become president, I think they're all put there for a reason, and Trump was put there for a reason. He completely polarized our nation immediately to where families didn't get along anymore. My family had a hard time getting along because of Trump being in office. Like, it was a huge thing. Everybody did. He was the most polarizing president of all time, would you say?
Of all time, for sure.
But I mean, I can't think of another president where you would say his name and it would incite a fight at the dinner table where it would be like, well, I'm leaving, you know, because that happened a lot with my family, like with all that. It was crazy. And I was just like sitting there like, oh my God, like what is going on with the political system?
Well, politics is super polarizing, but we've never had a president. We've never had a president who sits and calls the opponent's names like in speeches. Have you ever seen that?
No, that it was entertaining, but it was also sad.
It's terrible.
It was entertaining.
Yeah,
it was great. It was great for like Saturday Night Live stuff.
Yeah,
it was great for that.
Great material.
But then when you start talking about the world and like how we live,
here's why I'm saying he can't win. So Biden beat Trump by 8 or 9 million votes, whatever. Biden beat Trump. Biden has the personality of this bottle.
Right.
I mean, Biden's a blank slate. He's basically.
You get the thing, man. Oh, come on, man.
Basically, no one beat Trump by 8 or 9 million. But imagine if you had a viable candidate.
The problem is we don't want viable candidates anymore because viable candidates make sense. They don't want it to make sense.
Well,
they want us all fighting in the streets about this.
Let me say this then: more viable than Trump or Biden, right? Like more viable than that.
Who's that? Give me somebody's name.
It's probably going to be DeSantis and Newsom. It's probably who's going to be my prediction for 2024 runoff.
Really?
DeSantis of Florida, Newsom of California. The governor. The Democrats are not going to want to put Biden back up. No chance in hell. And the Republicans, if they don't distance themselves from Trump, if the people still latch on, here's what's going to happen. You're going to have 33% of the Republicans that are Trump supporters. 66 or 67% that aren't Trump supporters and want anybody else but Trump. Or even if it's 50-50, the party's split in half, and the Dems will get behind somebody, and the Democrats will have somebody they align behind, and they'll all, just like they did with Biden or Obama, they don't have to agree. They'll all go in lockstep. The people that support Trump, he'll have them so polarized against the other Republican that could be a viable candidate that the Republicans cannot win. That's what I'm saying. If the Republicans don't start distancing themselves from Trump, they're about to cost themselves 12 years. I don't care which one of them are in, right? Like, my life's going to be the same either way.
Let's play a game.
Go.
Let's play a game. Let's name people that would beat Trump in the next election. I don't know if I'm smart enough to play this game. I could do it being funny. I could be like, like when the funny thing was
Kanye
when I went,
would beat Trump.
No, I was going to say, like when I went to the polls the last day, it was like Kanye West was on there. I was like, just to be funny, but I was like, but it's just funny to me. I'm in here alone.
Yeah.
It's like a funny thing. And how many people voted for Kanye?
Well, just do it like quite a few. Not that many. I think like maybe less than 1%. But think of it like this, okay?
Well, who would beat Trump?
Okay, well, let me just break it down. That's what I was trying. If Biden could beat Trump, that's like saying, so like this paraplegic just won this boxing match, and then you say, who can beat this great boxer on the Republic? And you would say anyone could be. The paraplegic just beat it. Like anyone can beat. Like Joe Biden just beat Trump. So who couldn't beat him?
Well, I honestly believe that our country wouldn't survive 4 years of Trump if he was elected. I think there would. It almost did. The first time, everybody was nuts. Everybody went nuts.
Nuts. Off the rocker. But if Joe Biden can beat Donald Trump, and he did beat him, they brought up 63 cases trying to prove voter fraud, and there's no way you got 63 judges to all who didn't know this was going to happen, and they'd be counted to all say, you have no case, you have no case, you have no case. There was voter fraud in 2020. No more than there was in 2016, 2008, 2000, 1996.
Every time.
There was just enough to not matter at all. Trump lost the election badly to Joe Biden. So if Joe Biden can beat Trump, who on the Democratic side could not beat him.
But we always do this thing where we always flip flop. We always go left and right and left and right. Everybody gets fed up with this and fed up with that, like it's orchestrated.
The pendulum
it's
swings.
Completely orchestrated. And I think the reason why, like,
but right
Trump
now
was so over the top with everything, they just like to just, I don't know, man. It was just such an odd thing. Almost like, I will tell you this. When was the election? When it was Trump and Hillary?
Yeah, November 2016.
2016. I went to bed thinking Hillary Clinton was going to win. And I was like, okay, well, you know, it's her comeuppance. Yeah. She's been working towards this her entire life.
It looked like a slam dunk when we went to bed.
Slam dunk. I went to bed at like 11 p.m. I woke up at 4 a.m. and Trump was the president, and I felt like I was in a different world. Yeah. I felt like CERN cranked up the Hadron Kaleidoscope, and they fucking did the thing. Like, and then like boom, we were in another like universe when he won, and it was just like, and you even saw like on his face, like when he won, he was coming down. It was like he was like, oh my god, I won.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I don't think at first he planned to win. Like I really don't think. I think he was just trying to elevate his fame.
Yeah.
More, and he ended up winning. And it was super. It was just look. He had some policies that I thought
had some good policies. He had some good policies.
And just like Biden has some good policies. That's what
hey man, I'm all about us as a country supporting
doing what's
ourselves
best for us, yeah.
and doing what's best for us, and saying, oh, you guys want to bring stuff in here? Are you going to pay for it?
Yeah,
I'm all about that.
Sure.
I'm all about that. And I also thought that it was cool. That you gotta follow me on this one. Right. I also thought it was cool that a president could talk to the entire nation through Twitter, except the fact that he said some crazy shit on Twitter.
The Twitter's the problem.
No, like, could you imagine like having like a John F. Kennedy had Twitter?
Yeah, he would have used it.
He would have used it. It would have been great.
But right? Think of it like this: if John F. Kennedy, and I don't want to speak for John F. Kennedy, but I will because it's a podcast, it's my podcast, and do what I want. So if John F. Kennedy if John F. Kennedy did have access to Twitter, I feel like the tweets would go something like this: Happy July 4th to everyone out there. I hope you have a wonderful time with your family. I'm going to enjoy my family this evening. Everyone should be so grateful to live in this great nation. God bless America. Happy 4th. That would be his tweet. I don't think if John F. Kennedy had Twitter, he would tweet shit like, well, Mike Hinkle's an idiot, and that's the reason he thinks that he knows about politics, but no one knows more about politics than me, and happy 4th to all Trump supporters.
And he's a fat piggy.
Do you see the difference in the tweets? And John F. Kennedy's tweets had he had Twitter. And
right.
Imagine Abraham Lincoln with a Twitter. What does that look like? It looks super inclusive. It looks super mature. It looks like, well, this is a great message. It looks like a guy you want to lead. If you look at all the great leaders, Twitter would have been wonderful. Mm-hmm. But when you give it to a megalomaniac, egomaniac with not a brain near as large as he thinks it is, and an ego bigger than anything I've never seen a man with his ego, never. And how does a soft-handed, draft-dodging New York City billionaire become the spokesperson for rural America? How the fuck do you get conned like that?
He doesn't align with middle America at all. But he did.
He wouldn't walk across the street to piss on those people. They are not his people. You think...
I am wearing my United States Space Force.
Do you tell me this? Do you think the people you see at a Trump rally... Do you see the people turn on a video of any Trump rally?
But you got to get behind somebody, right?
And tell me if you think those people are at Mar-a-Lago or invited to Mar-a-Lago or playing golf with him or those are his friends. This is a soft-handed, draft-dodging billionaire from New York City who became the voice of the middle America after he told.
My brother went to Mar-a-Lago. And he does have a picture with Trump.
Does your brother?
It was awesome.
Does your brother look like the people that get interviewed at Trump rallies?
No. But here's the thing. I've always said this, and I'll say it to the end. I don't care who the president of the United States is. If I'm invited to see the president of the United States, I am going. I don't care if it's Biden. I don't care if it's Trump. I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
I don't care who it is. I want to meet the fucking president of the United States. That's awesome.
That's awesome. So,
and then like people though will be like, I wouldn't go to see that asshole. Blah blah blah. And you're like, no, dude. It's not about him. It's the seat. It's the job.
Yeah.
I want to go see the dude that runs the country. That's fucking cool.
I'm just saying these things. I'm saying these things about Trump because I think I just think people have got to. If they can't see now, if you're still holding on now, it's okay. Just let go. I'm not saying look. I'm an independent. I'm not here to tell you that you should.
Here's the problem.
The party is done. It's done for 12 years.
Oh, really?
It's done. This is me talking.
I don't know anything about it. I don't know what I'm saying.
It is
like I don't know.
The Republican Party is going to be divided, and Trump's going to be whoever the other candidate is. He's going to have.
So what you're saying is that we should just kick this dude to the curb. Don't even say we're done.
Cut ties with him.
We got to go another route.
Get rid of your Trump flags. Just go take a look in the mirror and be like, I wanted it to be true. I wanted this guy to be awesome, but he sucks.
I think everybody got sucked into a lot of conspiracy theory stuff over the past 5-6
because Trump told them lies
on both sides.
But the other side, at least the other side. They're not saying things they know to be lies and just purporting them as truths and saying, believe me. Like, I don't know.
I think they do that too.
Yeah.
I think both sides do it. I think they're the same thing. I just think they're the same thing.
They are. But there's this. He's just a worst example of the same thing, right? Like, there's all these same things. There's hundreds of them, and they all suck, right? Let's say here's 100 politicians, and we hate them all, right? But someone's got to be a little better, and someone's got to be a little worse.
Nobody's ever going to be happy with anything. Whoever's running the country, nobody's ever going to be happy with it.
Yes, they are. They're happier that they've
not 100% of the people.
No, but not that divided.
Well, it was very polarizing. Not that divided.
Because you don't have, of course, if Biden was on Twitter talking shit about half the country, a sitting U.S. president getting on.
I guess you're right. I guess you're right. Like there really was never a president that would talk shit about half of the people.
Never. They would always include them, talk about us, no matter if they were Republican or Democrat. They would talk about America, the place. They would talk about how wonderful things were, and their language was always inclusive and professional and leading from the front. That's every president we've ever had, every governor, every mayor. These are like basic leadership tenets. Nobody in a leadership position goes and just talks shit constantly once they have the position against those who oppose them. Imagine the CEO of a company talking about his cashiers all the time because he heard that the cashiers had made a tweet about, something about CEOs and he didn't like it. So the CEO is now like on a vengeance against cashiers and is like tweeted like fuck cashiers to like the Buggy Boys, right? Like he's
right.
The CEO's coming to the store.
Are you talking about the Buggy Boys?
See, imagine a CEO coming to a store and saying, "You believe those cashiers? What fucking idiots they are?"
Yeah.
And no, because leaders don't do that.
I know. I'm saying.
And everyone goes, "Oh, well, I like a guy who says what's on his mind." No, you don't, because you wouldn't hang out with somebody like that for 5 seconds. You wouldn't. I've had this conversation with multiple. I'm like, that say, "I like somebody that speaks their mind." I'm like, "Cool, me too. I speak my mind." But would you be around someone who talked like that and behaved like that, a grown adult that acted like that? No. They go, "Yeah, hell yeah, I would." And I say, "Well, where are they? Show me your friend like Trump." And nobody has one. Because why? Because people don't hang out with douchebags like that. They don't.
Right.
So why do you pretend? And if your kid acted like that, you would call, if your kid was 30 and he acted like Trump you would call him and be like, "You get your shit together on social media. I'm not going to have my son out there typing like an idiot, acting like a fool." You would not allow that. You'd be like, "This is not going to ride." But for some reason, there was hero worship when this dude did it. It's all so bizarre to me.
It's very strange.
Very bizarre, man.
It's very strange.
It's a very strange situation. But
I think people got caught up in the fact that he was speaking his mind.
Was he speaking his mind, or is he just saying outlandish shit that he knows will polarize people and he gets people behind him? Is it really his mind, or is he just like, "I know how to rile these people up"? These people.
I think it's a little bit of both.
You think it's really his mind, or he's like, he just goes up there and goes, what do you want to say? The LGBTQI plus. And then he just starts talking shit because he knows they're going to be like, yeah! He knows the crowd's going to love that shit. Yeah. He loves when a crowd loves shit. So he just talks about all the people they want to talk about.
Right.
They want to talk about people, and he does it for them. And he knows that they'll love that shit.
Right. He's pandering. Just like
totally.
So just like the Waffle House songs and the you pander to your. But isn't that politics? Isn't politics pandering to your demographic?
Else doesn't like,
but also like in politics, you have all these people that they go through and they say, well, these polls of the percentage of people don't like this and they don't like that. So you got to say this to these people. It's so fake now. Nobody believes in what they believe in. They're just like, hey, 60% of people don't like fracking. We're against fracking because we want the non-fracking vote.
Yes, but they don't go to their rally and then be like, and then you got your frackers. We love the frackers. Over here, the frackers, as I call them. Nobody knows fracking like I know fracking. Believe me. Believe me, nobody knows fracking. But we hate the frackers, really. Don't we hate the frackers, guys? Yeah! Nobody else does that because that approach is bullshit. He does that approach. It's not like he's just saying, I'm against it. It's not like somebody who's anti-gun, right? And they're just like, hey, I think we should have some gun. They say, I think we should have some gun. Or it doesn't even matter. Pick a Republican issue. They just don't go out and attack the other group who's against them. He openly attacks everybody that is any kind of against him. And it's because his ego cannot handle any bit of criticism.
Oh, wow.
That's what I think.
I mean, let it all out.
Can't let it all out.
I mean, you make sense. You're making sense. You make a lot of sense.
As an independent, it's super frustrating. I feel the same way about it. I feel when I watch a televangelist on TV, right? Like healing people in the front row. And I'm like watching these videos, I'm like, there's no way these 500 people are falling for this. And not only are they falling for it, they're giving him all their money. I feel the same way about Trumplicans.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know that you're better. Like, I know that you know better, right? It's not, I know that you know better. It's like the televangelist.
But I'm on the team. I know,
get on the, sometimes you gotta.
I'm a part of something.
Sometimes your mom and dad.
Not me. I'm not saying me. I'm just saying.
Sometimes your mom and dad aren't good people, right? And it's hard to say, I love my mom and dad.
How dare you? My mom's a saint.
My mom is too, but I'm talking about in general. Okay, I'm saying if mom and dad aren't good people, at some point as an adult, you'd have to go, man, my mom's terrible or my dad's terrible. And you follow what I'm saying? You have to make that decision to get away from that.
Yeah, I hear you.
You can't just be like, no, my mom, and be like, dude, I just saw your mom.
You can't do it to the end, right?
I was just at 7-Eleven. Your mom was robbing the store for crack. She's not. And then I left the store and she was given head in a back alley. Your mom's a terrible person. You're just like, no, you don't want to believe it because it's your mother. That's the Trump derangement syndrome going on. They don't want to believe it because it's like they've fallen so in love with it. They were buying shirts, and think about this. Have you ever seen any politician ever in your 43 years on earth
that had merch?
Like and a band. People wore outside of election season, not like occasional hat or a pin. I'm talking about a random November in an even numbered year that's not an election year, walking around triple lettered up like you're in a fraternity.
Oh yeah, like triple MAGA hat. MAGA hat.
Biden blazer.
Hey,
socks.
Wearing a MAGA hat around back in the day was
it's a boss move, right?
It was pretty boss. I mean, you were standing your ground.
The guys wore that's what they wore. They were like, hey, and I could respect that. Like, and at that point, it made sense. At that, really, in 2016, 17, I thought it was ridiculous that he was our president. But I was still like, I get it. He's got some good policies. You don't like the way he talks. It wasn't enough for me to have the stance I am now. Like
I sure did like fuel being about $1.50, $2 cheaper.
That was awesome.
It was pretty cool.
I mean, I liked him giving more money to HBCUs.
Why can't we all get on the internet and like vote on this stuff? Why can't we?
Why is there an app for that?
Why isn't there an app for us to be like, all these people? We have these representatives, right? Okay, so we have these representatives, and they're all in DC. Why can't we all like log in and be because people can hack all the shit, I guess. But it's just like there should be a way that we're all like, hey, do you think this should happen? everyone has a phone. Everyone has a phone, and you just go yes or no, and then we go like that. Like what?
Are you talking about? Are you talking about for every? I don't think
everything,
dude.
That would be awesome.
60% of the country couldn't tell you who the vice president is, and you want them voting on issues they don't understand the language of and context
sure,
of?
Why not? Oh no! So now you're saying that we need these people.
You do need representation. There's no taxation without representation. You have to have representation.
But what I'm saying
is, we're taxed.
They wouldn't even, the people that don't understand wouldn't even vote, so it doesn't matter.
Or would they?
Well, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I'd like to see a world where that would happen, and maybe it would just be nuts. Everybody would be like, oh, now we're voting on everybody has a red car, and now everybody has a red car.
I'm cool with that for elections, but I don't want everyone voting on like spending bills or infrastructure bills or things they have, or pharmaceutical bills or things they just have no fundamental understanding of at all. It's like going to like the junior high and being like, hey, can y'all do a class project and prepare these legal documents for me?
Junior high people voting. It'd be 21 and up, 18
I'm saying you wouldn't go to a junior high and let them fill out like your legal documents either for like.
Well, yeah, of course not.
Well, I wouldn't want. I don't want.
Wouldn't it be better? Wouldn't it be better? Okay, let's say this. Let me redo this.
Okay.
Give me a redo because you made a lot of sense. Give me a mulligan. All of that goes to our representatives of our state or whatever, and they see that instead of just how many times have you ever picked up a phone and called your representative and said, I don't really like bill number 7245. I think that's bullshit. Never. So if we had a way to tally what people think in our districts to send to DC so they could make a informed thing on everyone that lives there, then they have the say. And then if most people that wanted like this to happen, then it didn't happen, then we vote those people out next time. They're gone.
Well, we should be, we should have term limits anyway to get some of these people out.
No, we need to get somebody to make some roads up here in Louisiana.
Here's my 3-step solution.
There's a bridge over here that I need remade, and it's brutal. We should be able to vote on where our taxes go so I can get this bridge done so my teeth don't jar out.
Yeah, so you can vote on that. But if you just got rid of, you need term limits. Term limits for Congress, Senate, and the Supreme Court. Everything needs term limits. That's the first thing. Nobody needs to be there for 38 years, 52 years.
I'm with you on that.
Lobbyists need to be exiled from Washington, D.C. No policy should be set because this pharmaceutical company that makes oxycodone had more money than this pharmaceutical company that makes Lortabs, right? That should not be how policy, healthcare, anything is determined. So get lobbyists all the way out of Washington, D.C. We don't need lobbyists. Get your term limits. Do your 6 years, your 4 years, your 2 years, and go back to your farm, your law office, your business, your trucking company, whatever it is you do. Go back and do that. You're not to be a politician forever. And the third thing is, every elected official makes whatever the median income is in their state.
Oh.
That's your salary. Whatever your state's median income is, that's your salary. Term limits for all offices, including the Supreme Court. No lobbyist at all allowed in D.C. Get the F out. Do those 3 things, fundamentally change the whole system.
Huh.
I think.
It sounds sound.
Makes sense, right?
It makes sense. The lobbyist thing makes sense.
Wouldn't you be, doesn't the salary thing make sense? Instead of them getting $174,000 and getting 18% salary or increase whenever they want to vote it in, you say, if you want a higher salary, make your state so desirable to live in that your median income is so high that your salary is higher than everyone else on Congress and Senate. Does that make sense? So if you're running California, if you're coming from California and your median income there is $73,500, you make $73,500. If you're coming from Mississippi and your median income is $26,200, you make $26,200. And if you want to make $73,500, enact policies that help your people that rise the incomes, and then you also make that income.
Man, that's a great idea.
Thank you.
That's awesome. I like that. That gives you an incentive to boost your state.
So I always just want to look at things like how can you make this better? And I've spent some time thinking about that. And I want to make things simple too. Like, you make it simple. These aren't hard policies to understand. Everything I just said can be understood by a 20-year-old, 17-year-old, right?
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
It's super scalable and it's easy to do. Now, will we ever do it? No.
No, but that's not what they want.
They're gonna be like, hey, this guy on a podcast.
Hey, this guy.
Good idea.
He had this great idea where we make less money and we have to work harder.
Work harder.
How anyone in their right mind, like in any business, in any job, anywhere, it's like, hey, we're gonna make it better for the workers, and if we don't make it better for the workers, we don't get paid. It's
right.
like out the door.
Right, but it'll never happen.
It'll never happen because
it makes too much sense.
Our world is based on
it's the same
the wrong things.
It's the same thing. Like, so I've been saying this for 20 years. Minimum wage should be set and go with inflation. As inflation goes, minimum wage. So this year, minimum wage would go up 9.6%, right? Next year, if inflation's at 3%, it automatically raises 3%. If minimum wage had gone with inflation since 1980, we'd be at $21.60 an hour. Be at $21.60 an hour be your minimum wage, and you would never feel the pressure of that because it just scales with time.
I was at the understanding that there would be no math involved in today's podcast.
Well, it's small math, but think how much sense that makes. If minimum wage just goes with inflation, it doesn't have to be voted on ever. You vote on it one time in 1940, and you say minimum wage is $0.25 an hour. It will go with inflation. If inflation goes down 1%, it goes down 1%. If inflation goes up 9%, it goes up 9%. And it just constantly goes like that. And then the businesses get used to absorbing that expense. You're not telling a business owner, hey, you have to go from $7.25 to $15 an hour, which doubles their labor output. No one's going to do that. You can't do that. It's unsustainable. However, if we'd have started when you instituted the thing, when you started minimum wage, just tie it to inflation from there like Social Security is, you don't have to have this debate. You don't even have to have a minimum wage fight in Congress and Senate. There is no fight. Everyone knows what the deal is. Yeah, minimum wage is $21.60 an hour.
But you know why all that's like that?
Yeah, because they're fucking idiots.
Because no, they're very smart. Because it's all set up for us to toil in the dirt for our money. That's what it's all about.
Well, there'd still be toiling in dirt.
No, I'm just saying that money is a system of control for everyone.
Sure.
Because money doesn't really exist. It exists only because we say it exists, and this costs this. That's it. It's not backed by anything. It doesn't do anything.
But that's not the argument.
I know that's not the argument, but I'm just trying to say that they're never gonna. Of course they know how to make the world work, but they're not going to make it work like that because they don't want people.
Then we have to. Then people have to.
We're never going to do it. We're too busy worried about who likes Trump and who doesn't, or who's Democrat and who's Republican. It's never going to work because we're always fighting about something.
They want us fighting about whether or not somebody said gay in a book.
Called divide and conquer, and it's been here forever.
Get the gay books out of the library, which I don't think they should be.
I don't think any books should be banned ever.
Do not ban anything ever. Books, paintings,
movies,
music, movies,
anything.
That is not what America is at all.
Yeah, it's messed. That is not it.
If you have politicians telling you've got politicians right now on the right going on TV declaring that they are Christian nationalists and that they want everyone to be Christian nationalist, and people are rallying behind them, not seeing like, what the fuck? Like,
what are you talking about?
I don't know
what you're talking about.
I'm talking about politicians
in
Washington, D.C. going on TV saying, I'm a Christian and I'm a nationalist. I am a Christian nationalist, which is what Hitler was. Right? We're not a country where you should ever imagine if you got up and said, I am a Muslim nationalist or a Christian nationalist, it should scare the shit out of you that politicians are saying that. They got to get control of these people. Like, again, they say that kind of stuff and their fan base riles up and is like, yeah, that's what America is. And they're telling them the exact opposite of what America is or what America should be. And they're convincing them that that's what America is. They're selling them like, yeah, you're supposed to be Christian nationalist. And they're like, yes, we are. This was at the CPAC, bro.
By the way, this is my least favorite podcast.
Yeah.
I hate politics and I hate all this shit. I like music and science. And
I do too. We'll get to more fun stuff.
Oh man, this one's brutal.
This will
probably be the one that goes crazy on TikTok. Well, which is fine.
Yeah, I mean, it needs to be talked about.
I'm gonna go ahead right now and say that this man right here needs to be on the ballot.
No, thank you.
Come on, man. You've got some great ideas. I think you can make them work.
Boy, wouldn't that be the worst job ever?
It'd be the worst job of all time. The worst job of all time, because the scrutiny from people that are smarter than you. You're never the smartest person.
Never the smartest person in the room.
You're never the smartest person in the room, especially when you're the president. The room is the world. You were never the smartest person in the room. And then you gotta I feel like you gotta just be like, these are my policies, and that's it. I'm the smartest person in the room. We know who did that.
Yeah.
But I just feel like it's a dumb system.
Yeah, but
having one guy in charge.
There's no way I put that job for $400,000.
And then all they do is, excuse me. Oh my God. Then all that happens is everything you do gets scrutinized down to the way you walked on to the Air Force One. I mean, it's brutal.
So ridiculous. Everything.
Brutal.
You couldn't do anything right. There's nothing you could do right.
And it's always been like that. I'm not just talking about the last 10 years.
Yeah,
I'm talking about
Clinton.
Good Lord. There's a funny meme going around right now where Clinton's sitting at his desk and it says,
you can't tell there's two people here.
You can't tell there's two people in this picture. Well, people that were born in whatever don't know there's two people in this picture.
If you're 25 years old.
Could you imagine being and having to live okay, he did that. Now it's even this many years later, it's still a stain on you and it just keeps hitting you. I know people that were like, oh my God, I don't want to take this test today. I'm going to kill myself. But these people, this shit hits you in the face all day long. All day long. This shit hits you.
I know, that's
mistakes that you made on a world scale. Holy crap. Who can withstand that kind of pressure and those kind of things?
It's terrible.
Maniacs.
You'd have to be.
You have to be a maniac.
I've always said it's got to be there is no job on earth I would want less. Even because if you knew, let's say you were a person that got to office and you were a person with pure soul, pure heart, right? And everything you were doing was legitimately, and I think, there's been some presidents that have probably done that.
But then they're the players that come in and they go, you can't do that. We're doing this. We're doing that.
No,
remember that thing you did? Well, you better do what we say.
What I'm saying is, though, so let's say you were that person, pure of heart, pure of soul, and everything you're doing, everything I'm doing is to make your life better, and I know that in my heart, right? And yet every time I do it, you're like, that guy's an idiot. Look what he did.
Right.
That's how it is to be president.
I think that's how it is to be a politician. I think politicians go into the thing I think they go into it I'm going to make a difference.
Good. I want to do what's right.
I'm going to make a difference. And I'm gonna do these things for the people, and I want everyone to love me, and I'm gonna make these things happen for these people. And then they get into it, and then they realize the real game is completely different, and they have to play by the rules. And they go, okay, well, I'm gonna play by these rules for now. And then when I get more power,
I'll do more.
What
I wanted to do.
And then it just ends up being a snowball of they can't.
It never happens. It's more lobbyists giving them more money.
Do it. And it's like, oh, hey, your kid wants to, it's like you're a such and such lower player. It's like, oh, your kid wants to go to Harvard. Well, my blah, blah, blah knows about Harvard. We can get him in Harvard, but, I need you to do this for me on this bill. And it's like, okay, I'll vote for that. And then your kid goes to Harvard. You're not going to say no to that. You're not going to say no to your kid getting in Harvard for that or any school. You know what I mean? So, you get into all these things. That's why I don't like politics. That's why I hate it, and I don't like talking about it. It makes me aggravated because there aren't any real saints out there that'll just fucking do the thing they got to do for us. And you know why? Because money is the root of all evil.
That's why you remove the lobbyist. You take the money aspect away from it. You take the thing that has corrupted us so much. You remove it. How it doesn't anybody that has any kind of business acumen can figure some of this stuff out. Find what the problem is, diagnose the problem, and remove the problem. They know what the problem is, and they're like, oh, who's going to say something?
they don't want to remove the problem because maybe they're the next guy in line to get the millions of dollars to do what they want because they do the thing. That's why they don't remove it. It's almost like we just need to reset everything, like you said.
We do need to reset. I would agree with that. So yeah, it'd just be a terrible job. It doesn't seem fun to me at all. Half the country you could be like, hey, I've got a cure for cancer. Half the country's gonna hate you.
Oh yeah, they're gonna be like, that's not real.
Yeah,
you just want us to take that because somebody's gonna make some money off of it.
They would say, hey, Mike just saved a baby from a burning boat, and he swam 9 miles with his baby in his arms, and half the country would go, it's bullshit.
That's bullshit. You know why I did that? Because the guy that owned the boat's a billionaire, and he's gonna give Mike $10 million for saving his baby.
It was like when Obama had Obama had killed Osama bin Laden, and then half the country was like, well, he didn't have anything to do with it. He's not a Navy SEAL. He didn't actually kill him. But like, bro, if your guy would have happened, you'd be running around with flags with a bullseye on him, like talking about like how y'all just killed bin Laden.
Right.
But if it happens under this president's watch, you're like, he had nothing to do with it.
The other example of that is right when COVID happened and Trump was still in office. He was talking about the vaccine, and everybody on the left said, we're not taking a vaccine. And then as soon as he was out and it was like, get the vaccine, get it now. You got to get it now. You're an idiot. But everyone else on the left, everybody, Nancy Pelosi, everybody, we're not going to take that vaccine.
No,
that's not what we're doing.
Vaccine
and then as soon as he lost, it was like, everybody get that vaccine. Everybody's got to get 2, get 3, get 4 of them,
and
get 5 of them.
On the flip side of that same issue, so the same issue, right? You're exactly right. You're 100% spot on. You go to the same issue, and they had said, so the Democrats then said, well, the Republicans said Biden moved too fast on the vaccine.
Can you keep going on this?
Yeah. They said Biden moved too fast on the vaccine. And you're like, well, wait a minute. I thought Trump was Operation Warp Speed.
He was already on it.
His deal was Operation Warp Speed, but now that it's actually happened, now that there's another president there, you're saying it shouldn't be. Now you're saying we moved too fast. I just don't know about the vaccine. I don't know if it's a legitimate vaccine because we moved too fast. Well, you just knew. You were just praising how fast the vaccine moves with this president when it was your guy. And the other side was saying they weren't going to take the vaccine because it was Trump's vaccine. Then Trump's out of office. Biden's in office. They're now saying take the vaccine. And this side, who was on team vaccine, now the right said they're not going to take the vaccine because it went too fast. It moved too fast. Well, Trump was the one that did Operation Warp Speed, and y'all were supposed to be in favor of Operation Warp Speed. So it's just like this bizarre mental gymnastics, how people can change their thought processes literally from 1 month to the next.
Right.
Like what I was saying was when the right, they were team vaccine when Trump was Operation Warp Speed. Nobody's seen no operation this fast. They were like, yeah, they're on team vaccine. Then there's a new president. They're all on team vaccine. And then the right is like, no vaccines. We went too fast. Even though y'all were the one, Trump was the one saying it goes so fast because of me.
Ridiculously playing with our lives.
It's like a movie. It's like a bad movie.
It's like a bad movie. Ridiculously playing with our well-beings because of politics. And that's why I hate politics.
Me too. I've actually never spent this much time talking about politics maybe in my life.
Me either.
So we're going to keep talking about music and fun stuff. And Rock, you want to wrap this one up?
Let's wrap it up.
All right, we'll wrap it up and we'll get into some more stuff next week. This is a short one. That's going to be real short.